Every day we discuss all things to do with the modern market. That is the crypto market, the NFT market, and how to make some or a lot of money on the internet. Loaded up for discussion today, we have Hyperliquid charging to new all-time highs at $51 before pullback to $49. We've got Plasma's XPL price on Hyperliquid pre-market surging as high as $1.60, almost a $16 billion FTV, liquidating all the shorts before it fell back. And finally, Howard Lutnick suggests the US government will put economic data on chain, as Trump suggests tariff revenue could be deployed to US citizens as a dividend. We'll be discussing all of that and more in just a little bit. But before we get there, I'm glad to say I'm joined by my co-host Bread today in the co-host seat. We're ready to get into it, but just a reminder, friends, before we do, nothing that we say here is financial advice. This market is very, very risky. We do not know anything for sure, so please do proceed with caution and exercise your own judgment. With that out of the way, Bread, it is Wednesday. It is the 27th of August. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I feel like you were hesitating there to save me as I was tweeting, and you were like rolling it.
I was very much. You were so frozen. I thought you might have been frozen. I was like,
things are good. I was listening.
You'll usually engage with me by this point, but I couldn't. I thought you.
I felt a certain way about a tweet. I was joining the space, and I was like, I saw that. I was like, I gotta tweet on this. Okay. No, things are good. You didn't comment on it. That's fine. You're like, whatever. But I have a bold PFP now, so I'm very excited about that.
I was gonna ask.
Got my bold Leonidas going. Yeah, we're just we just are hot off the weekend, right? I missed Monday because I was doing some camping. I was out in the woods, North Cascades, actually, if anyone's familiar, just like close to Canada. A lot of fun, camper van stuff. Hung out with the dog, hung out with the lady. It was a great weekend. So now we're back to degenerate shit. Yeah, I'm learning that like fucking Google Cloud is launching L1 too. Like it's yeah, we're right back at it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. We were talking yesterday with Rahim on the show, and it's like really big, important, meaningful headlines yesterday as well. And I feel like again today it's pretty interesting stuff, both from a trading perspective and then also from a macro perspective.
I'm gonna roast the government on that section, by the way. The Lutnick thing on, bro.
Just put the statistics on chain, Brad. Just put them there. Put the GDP. Put all of the. Just put the GDP there. Just stick it there.
We're gonna do it, and we're gonna make it a standard. And it's because you're the crypto president. We're gonna put it on chain. Come on, guys. It's blockchain ICT vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to your.
That's fine.
I'm looking forward to your assessment of that section. But one of the other interesting parts. Be curious for your thoughts, Brad. I mean, we've also got this news about. Okay, this is not news by any means. It seems to be one of the rumors percolating with, suggested tariff revenue going to US citizens as a dividend, which we'll reflect on later. Yeah. But the two kind of governmental parts yesterday that we were speaking about was, gosh, off the top of my head, it's just escaped me, but it was. I thought it was really interesting. You got there were two things. Trump firing the Fed governor, Lisa Cook, signaling his intent to put his own decision makers in charge of the Fed. Thought that was like super, super relevant, given that is relevant to interest rates, although that might not be your traditional universe of interest. But then in addition,
I still just think it's funny. It's just like, he's like, give me the numbers. Numbers suck. Okay, we're going to give me someone else to give me the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. But then another one of the things over the weekend that we missed was the US government taking a stake in Intel, like a 10% stake in Intel.
I missed that.
Yeah. And this is like, look, guys, this is like really, really important. I know we touched on it yesterday, but just wanting to get Bread's reflections on it as well. Because that's a really meaningful piece of news. So we had this piece of news to reflect on yesterday, where the US to take 10% equity stake in Intel and Trump's latest corporate move. The thinking is under a deal with a struggling chip maker that converts government grants into an equity share, the latest extraordinary intervention by the White House in corporate America.
Mm.
And I think what he has suggested is that if there are entities that are struggling, this might become something that they want to do under the interesting guise of like, well, you know, the American people have been kind of locked out of corporate wealth creation over the last couple of decades. Therefore, you know, you're going to get your, what was it called? The Trump, what was the
I
thing
don't
where they're
know.
going to give all kids a certain amount of stocks and
So,
everyone's going to have.
yeah, that I thought was great. I think this.
So this is the thing, right? It's kind of, okay, well, you take one set of logic. It's like, okay, well, you've all been unlocked out of this. Let's get you involved in it. And now it's like, well, okay, well, the government is going to participate in it. Why should the taxpayer not have some kind of controlling interest in it? Obviously, you know, the taxpayer literally and the government itself are separate people, but you can see how the thinking can keep extending to say, well, why
Yeah.
don't we take a slice of this? Why don't we take a slice of that? We've been left out of all of this stuff. The government should be a part of it. And it was funny. There's a Peter Schiff take yesterday, which was like, right, so let me get this straight. The Republican Party are trying to do all of these things. And it's like,
Nationalized.
yeah, this is like a kind of pseudo step towards a type of nationalization. Curious for your thoughts if you missed those couple of things. Funky's got his hand raised as well. Would be curious for some thoughts here.
Yeah, I did miss it. So my first blush thoughts are like, because like this could serve a few purposes. One is like, okay, like I do believe like it would be a good idea to give kids or whatever, like financial literacy is dog shit, frankly,
Yes,
in America. I don't
really.
know if that extends to
Everywhere.
UK. Okay, so
Absolutely.
it's dog shit. So like if the government starts doing some of this shit and then just like starts dishing this stuff out to people, fractionalize this shit, send it out to people so that you have a quarter of a share of Intel in your brokerage account, that like you get claim at 18 or 30 or whatever the fuck number you want them to do, just so people like are forced to learn because they have their hands on something. I'm totally down with like that as an educational mechanism to understand the markets, to get familiar with this shit. Give them a Robinhood account and fucking like let them play with this thing. Awesome. I love it. So on the financial literacy, like if it's part of that big game, you know what, I'm down for that vision. For the like bring manufacturing home initiative, like if this is an attempt to like save Intel and then like make them, because it sounds, you said it was grants that turned into ownership, which means they're probably giving them grants to build something here or to bring the chip manufacturing home, which is just like, that feels like a self-selection for the shitty companies. And like I don't know that that's what we were hoping for with the like, and because like, the whole debate was like, yeah, fucking Americans don't want to like work in factories. Like that's not the outcome we're hoping for. Like, don't bring shoe manufacturing back to America. Give us the shitty shoes. We'll own a little bit of the shitty shoes, and we'll try to open up factories in America to make it affordable by giving them grants. Like I don't think that's the best outcome for this, right? If you're just getting all of the shitty companies that are willing to give up equity because they're failing already to build in America, that doesn't make sense to me. So that one I'm not buying into. The other one I'm okay with.
Okay.
Let's see what Funky says.
Yeah, interesting take. Just one additional piece of context, because you've got some people in the YouTube comments like hyper concerned about this, and I think there is reason to be. Notorious Big Bull saying, you know, U.S. government acquiring 10% of Intel. Isn't the government taking over private businesses? Borderline Diablito maybe finishing the thought. Communist states of America. However, just for a bit of context, we spoke about it yesterday. During the Great Financial Crisis in 2008, this is from a BBC article, the US government did take a majority stake in automaker General Motors, which was poised to enter into bankruptcy protection. It eventually exited its position, incurring a loss of about 10 billion. I know that when COVID happened in the UK, there was like a similar mechanism for like, look, you guys really need an injection of cash. We can't give this to you purely as a loan. Like, for whatever reason, the commercials don't make sense. Let's do this thing where we're going to take some ownership and then, I don't know, just exit it for a loss later. Still like loss. It's still kind of, people are still losing money on it. But I guess in a very, in a what's the word? In a crisis, maybe you could argue, and look, maybe there's even an argument, look, just let these things fail. Well, the problem is we don't let anything fail anymore like we do in crypto. If you let things fail in crypto, like things literally just go to zero. And then you have to kind of move on. And maybe that's an argument for why crypto is so good, right? We actually let things fail and things get hacked and things go to zero. And then you start
Yep.
again and you find the things that are better. And in the real world now, just lost that concept of
Make
let
it
the
zombie
things that are
zombie forever.
failing
Yeah.
fail. And therefore you can move on to something better. And we just can't let the things fail at the moment. But Funky, curious for your thoughts here before we kick off the headlines for today. I thought it was a nice reflection on yesterday's news.
Thanks, B. Yeah, I actually wanted to chime in on this yesterday, and Brett teed it up for me with the perfect word with Z, zombie, because my
Mm.
middle brother for Intel for 21 years, and when he exited the company, he was one of the top 2 dozen in the brass. He saw this all being driven into the ground. I don't know why anybody would want anything to do with this company. Intel is not the company it was in 1993 when it dominated and every household had a PC and Macs weren't a thing and everything else. Intel has struggled to keep up with the market for the last decade, right? Like even some of their most advanced chips, when you could get trusted execution environments and the SGX chips, which are TEETs as they're often called, which are sometimes very popular among blockchains. They now package those completely as part of the Xenon processor. You have to buy like the whole server for your data center to even get like that specific chipset anymore. You can't buy them separately. So they really still specialize in some high-end compute for data centers, but by and large, their PC business has been dying for years. All the things you guys talked about, I think I just don't know why. Yes, there is the precedent, like you pointed out, B-Check with General Motors, back during the Great Recession and stuff like that. But I don't think, and I understand the exchanging of grants for equity, but I don't think it's a smart place for us to be getting involved. Yeah, just let it fail, right? There's so many great other companies out there that I think people would rather have some little bit of equity in rather than Intel.
Hmm. Yes, I think it's I don't know. On the one hand, you obviously have the free markets argument, which is like, look, guys, just let these things fail, let the best survive. I'm also actually open to the argument that, which is maybe a bit more controversial, that over time, if you want to restart something, because clearly we're in a bit of a decline here in the West in general. If you want to restart something, you might need to go back to your roots of how you started it in the first place. And often the things that um, kick off large parts of growth is like extreme centralization of power plus a little bit of protectionism. Like people aren't always super open as they are, when they're starting out. They often do that later when they've already established a lead. So I'm open to that idea, but you don't want to chase bad stocks. That's the thing. Bad companies that are struggling for whatever reason. Uh, you know, and to be fair, Funky, I think he's suggested at some point that Nvidia should be giving them. No, here you go. In the BBC article, it said the Trump administration recently ordered Nvidia and AMD to give the government a 15% cut of the revenue from AI chip sales to China, according to reports. So look, I don't know if that's guaranteed, but that's like part of the negotiation that seems to be taking place at the moment. Which, to be fair, maybe that's a better stream of revenue if that is the purpose of, even if it's a bit, I don't know, it's a little bit just gung ho, isn't it? Just shooting wherever they can try and find some money. Look, that was an interesting reflection on yesterday because we will talk about that more a little bit today as it relates to the further comments that Lutnick made about government and putting stuff on the blockchain. But before we get to and all the good conversation on Hyperliquid and other stuff too, let's get to the usual stuff. Get you up to speed with everything you need to know in the markets. Sharing my screen live for the people watching in on Twitter and YouTube. We've got Bitcoin up 1% to 111K. You've got ETH up almost 4% to 4.5K, almost 4.6. XRP is up 3% to $3. Got BNB up 1% to 857. Sol is up 8% to 204. You have Hyperliquid up almost 9% to $49. Went as high as 51, I think, at all-time high. We'll be talking Hyperliquid more today. And then finally, Sui is up 1% to $3.40 as well. Getting onto the meme coin side of things, we have Doge up 4%. It's generally a green day. Pengu's up almost 2%. Trump is up a couple. Bonk is up 5. SPX is up 4. WIF is up 5. Fartcoin is up 4. So in general, single digit green across the board on the meme coin side of things. I don't think there's one in particular that is standing out more than any others, but green day across the board. One thing to note here, as we've noted the last week or so, is when the majors are up, memes are kind of up in the same proportion. And when the memes are down, even on those days, sometimes they're down in the same proportion. Like, maybe there's some more aggressive days on the memes, but on a day like today, it's kind of the same. And if anything, ETH is still outperforming Pepe, which is, Rahim always speaks about how he'd rather hold Pepe, or this used to be the case. If ETH goes up, Pepe goes up more. Like, I just don't think that's the case anymore. I don't think the numbers are supporting that. So that's an interesting thing.
Are you
to
anticipating note. Are you trying to play any Ethereum meme pumps? Like, I would like, Ethereum's obviously running right now. It's all institutional. I made a tweet yesterday, 2 days ago. It's like everything, like everything's pumping. We're reaching all-time highs on basically everything, but there's no new people, right? Like if you think about like friend tech days, if you think about NFT days, it was like every second week there was a weird new celebrity or a TV show talking about it. And like there's none of that. Even the celeb coin meta was like, it was Iggy Azalea, and then it was like I guess we had Yeezy the other day, but like I don't know that even really counts because like he's not really doing anything, he's not really getting into it. It's just like it kind of happened, and for all we know, it's a group of 15-year-olds that launched the fucking thing on us. But like, yeah, like it's just like it's a weird dynamic where it's like all the numbers are going up, great, but it still just feels like all of us like just like rotating through these like little micro on-chain metas. Like none of the activity is actually up on chain. It's weird.
It's an interesting point. I think when people talk about onboarding cycles, people talk about 2017, people talk about 2021. I don't think there is like a phase where people are like, oh yeah, I got onboarded in 2024 or 2023 or 2022.
Like what's the class of 2025 going to be? Like,
yeah,
there won't be.
There's a class of 2017. There's a class of 2021. And then I don't think that there has been a class since, to be honest. Unless anyone can tell me in the comments otherwise. Like none of my friends have been interested to get in any more than they were already. And that's the limit. They might actually still even hold crypto, but they're not getting any more involved anywhere else or doing anything on chain. So
I have some sizable for like they've bought through brokerage. Like I have some buddies that are degenerates, like options traders doing stuff. And there's like, yeah, I just bought a shit ton of ETF. He actually probably is up fat because he did that back in the day. Whenever like even I was starting to like doubt it. So like this had to have been bottom, and he's probably up bigly right now. I need to send him a text.
Yeah, you do. He needs that text.
He's able to turn the shit off, right? He like they got those people are so disconnected. They're just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll buy it. It'll go up in a couple of years or something. Like for us, we're sitting here every day watching. Like, is it gonna go up? Is it like what's the vibe? Is it bearish? Is it good? Is it rotation? Is it Hyperliquid? Is it chain number 72? Is like
Yeah, because they're only comparing their investments to the dollar or the normal stuff, whereas we see everything moving all the time, and then that puts you under more pressure to outperform whatever is the most performant thing. Some other views in the comments. Yep, kind of lining up with what we're saying. No one was onboarded. We're just dumping on each other's face, says English in a very polite way. Coach says ETF flows won't show up on chain. Retail has no money. That I've been saying that one for a while. Like, with what money is anyone supposed to participate? People have been squeezed so aggressively from inflation, and those numbers really showed up last year. Now people claim it's lower. I don't care what people claim. It's not lower. It might be slightly lower than the rapid rise before, but it's still too much, and it's still going up faster than what people's wages are going up. So people are still getting poorer, just at a slower rate. So yeah, with what money? I don't know for sure. Yeah, Notorious Big Bull just reflecting on those nice 2020, 2021 days where everyone came in with NFTs and thought NFTs were going to change the world. I personally think they have still. I think there's a great emergence of a new asset class. Okay, so interesting set of reflections there. Let's get into the headlines, get you up to speed, and then we're going to do a bit of a roundup, and then we're going to hit the main headlines. So we'll be talking today about, where are we? We've got to have the right set of headlines up. We'll be talking today about, of course, the main headline of the day is that Hyperliquid charged to a new all-time high around $51 before pullback to $49. As part of that process, this was pretty interesting trading drama overnight. Plasma's XPL price on Hyperliquid pre-market surged as high as $1.60, a $16 billion FTV. Remember, they raised at 500 mil the other day, liquidating all the shorts before falling back to around 70 cents. We'll get into what on earth is going on there, because all of the pre-market action has gone to Hyperliquid now. So you need to understand what is happening, why it's happening, who's longing, who's shorting, and why. So we'll touch on that. Another big source of activity for Hyperliquid, though, in the process, right? And then finally, Howard Lutnick suggests US government will put economic data on chain, as Trump suggests tariff revenue could be deployed to US citizens as dividend. We'll touch on those things. Some big moves in some notable NFT collections. Sam Spratt Masks of Lucy floor moves up to $40,000. Feeling a little bit silly now for selling my one already, but I sold it at a nice price. Xcopy Grifter floor moves up to 100,000. So a lot of these like premium NFTs putting a big move in here. And then finally, Doodles 30 ETH. This sale was bought by this pickle was bought by the former Sotheby's CEO. I thought that was pretty cool, interesting, notable detail. Getting into the rest of the news, we've got Nakamoto announcing Kindly MD's $5 billion ATM equity offering to pursue a Bitcoin treasury strategy. You've got the Trump Media and Crypto.com announcing a Crow treasury strategy. $6.42 billion worth of Crow is going to get bought. Chainlink ETF was filed by Bitwise. All kinds of like very institutional pieces of news here. Canary filed for another Trump coin ETF. That's the third Trump coin ETF. You had Donald Trump Jr. investing in crypto prediction market app Polymarket and becomes an advisor. And I believe he's also an advisor to Kalshi, which is the kind of biggest competing prediction market. So I don't know. They're just they're everywhere. They're in all of the prediction markets as well as in all of crypto at this point. Pudgy Penguins reveal Labor Day weekend takeover and NASCAR. You got Euler Labs launching Euler Earn with $50,000 worth of incentives. Finally, on the NFT side, Blur Farmer, who bought 40 Moonbirds at $33,000 1 year ago, has listed all of them, standing to make $500,000 in profit. So that Moonbird's NFT price has dropped to around 2.8 ETH until that supply can get filled, because you can't just absorb all of that in one go. There aren't the buyers there. So that is that. Brad, before we get into the main stuff today, is there anything catching your attention here from the Web3 Roundup or elsewhere that is kind of piquing your interest?
I came across a tweet yesterday that, and I mentioned it in the intro, about Google Cloud Universal Ledger. They're launching a layer 1 as well. I'm trying to research
about this then, because this was like one of the headlines that I had written down, but I couldn't find like loads more details. So yeah, tell us about this.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. That's actually what I was reading on the side to see like how deep into it I can get. It's, as far as I can tell, it's like chain and permissions are in name only, right? It's a permissioned. Yeah, I'll put a link in chat so you can see like their official documentation on it. But like they have this whole thesis breakdown over there talking about mostly about stable coins and the evolution of digital money, and like they go through all that stuff. Banknote similarities to stable coins. So they go through the progression of like how the actual banking system works on the back end, and how there's actual several currencies that everyone's swapping in between, and like how the universal ledger is meant to handle multiple assets and then allow for swapping between them, and they're going to solve it infinitely scalable or world scale, global scale is what they're trying to label their chain as, whatever. I'm trying to get like some of the details on it though, to see like what they're actually doing to implement this thing. But it's interesting. I think it might be closer to like 2017 vibes, where I think it was a Hyperledger. This is Universal Ledger. Hyperledger was a permissioned corpo chain that was created back in the day that no one used, and it eventually died. So like I don't know if this is going to be a run back of that. I like to think Google has actually been pretty on top of like Web3 ethos, right? Like if you paste your EVM address into Google search, it'll pull up an Etherscan poll or like your account balance from Etherscan. Like it actually, like they're pretty forward with some of this shit. So I'd like to think they're in tune at least a little bit with the industry. So it surprises me like how far down the path of just like a corpo internalized chain they would go. But I want to read more on this because like it's pretty big. Like everyone's launched stuff. We have Stripe doing their thing. We have now Circle doing their thing. We have Google's doing their own. I just want to know like how the economics of this are going to shake out, because the distribution of these players is gargantuan. And like if we're finally getting buy-in from regulatory agencies that like, okay, we can actually start implementing this stuff, like these guys can try to come over the top and like yeah, like do some real damage with this shit. So I'm curious how they're deploying that.
Interesting. Yeah, as you say, there are now 5 stablecoin chains.
Yeah.
You have Plasma, which
Stable.
is maybe most closely attached to Tether. You have Stable, which is also either invested in or advised by Tether or Paolo as well.
Arc.
So that's 2 in the kind of Tether ecosystem. Then you've got Arc in the Circle. By Circle, you've got Tempo by
Stripe.
So that's 4. What was the 5th one? Am I just making this up?
I think you said 4. So like that's your 4. Then if Google does this and they're leaning into
Google being the 5th.
I imagine they're going to want to lean into stable coins if they go down, because like they're talking about stable coins specifically in this article.
Yeah, I mean, in the introduction, it leads off with stablecoins. Stablecoins, that's the first word. First word in the introduction is stablecoins. Stablecoins experienced remarkable growth in 2024, tripling in transaction volume to 5 trillion in organic transactions and 30 trillion in total. So yeah, I think there's just going to be. I think there is space for this bread, don't you think? Like, I know people say there doesn't need to be a stablecoin chain, but forget the fact we're calling it a stablecoin chain. It's a new payment rail, and there will be more than one payment rail.
Yeah, and it's better. This has been the thesis for blockchain like all the time. Like anytime you have FUD, it's just like it's just better. So it's like
it's just
whether or not
the current system.
Yeah, so whether or not they use our specific coins to do what they're going to do, like the actual technology is better. The hope is like we build up enough critical mass that they come and they leverage our shit. So they either launch an L2 or they deploy directly on a chain that we already have coins of, so that our numbers go up and we win bigly. But like that was never a given. And like the second order effects of this, or just like the other things to consider, is like composability and interop is also a benefit. Right, to be one hop away from trading monkey JPEGs on Ethereum to like, there's going to be bridges that are going to support all these fucking chains, right? Like the aggregators will integrate them. So it's like for me to be one hop away from my monkey JPEGs to switching into Google dollars, like that's useful. That's very useful for everyone, even if it is like a quarantine zone that like not all energy that they put into the system goes into like, again, my bags directly, which is the best outcome for me. It's useful for everyone to have them adjacent to, because like right now, like you think about the equivalent in the web 2 world are just like the current paradigm. It's like, how am I going to swap my monkey JPEGs into dollars on the Google Play Store? You're like, I have to sell the thing. I have to transfer to Coinbase. I have to send it to my bank account. Then I have to like transfer it over to my Google account. And like, dude, it's 19 steps of bullshit and days of delay. So it's like, if I can literally just go to an aggregator or a bridge and just go like liquidate, transfer, like, and boom, I can buy an app on the App Store. That's sick. And like, that's useful to me, even if it is on Google's specific little blockchain.
Yeah. Agree. Completely agree. Okay. Let's get into the main headlines for today then. 3 pretty interesting ones, kicking it off the gate with Hyperliquid bread. That is the main headline of the day, surging past all-time high again. All kinds of activity going on Hyperliquid, some which we've been predicting for a while, some new things which I guess we had not predicted with the new kind of big uptick in pre-market activity. But just talking about some of the data points that we think are interesting here. What do we need to know on Hype going past its all-time high now?
Yeah, I'll just ask that you show the tree of dopamine tweet to kind of kick it off. I think that's the most compelling visual. And it's just that like, so Hype's going or approaching all-time high. This person did the tweet. Hype is doing 30%, 36% of all crypto revenues, while market cap is 1.2% of total crypto market cap, 3.76 trillion. Kind of wild. Is trading 30x lower than its proportion of revenue generated in this space. Now, I'm going to put a sheet ton of caveats into this. Blockworks is good about data. So like there is consistency here at least, but it's just like revenue for me is not rev for you, is not burn for the third person, is not. So it's like there is no clean way to articulate like what is revenue and map it across every single one of these networks. Like Blockworks does a good job. So like, and this probably covers, I would say, above 80% of all the things that are relevant, which is good because there's a lot of power law in this industry. But like you'll never get a complete picture of this shit. You'll never be able to capture it all because it's just, there's nuance between the constructions of these chains.
Even if, Brad, there's like some different ways that you measure revenue, would it not be the case that Hyperliquid is very likely, if not exactly 36% of all crypto revenue, like it's crushing it in that metric in a variety of ways that you might measure it?
Yes, it is doing a disproportionate, like exactly what he's saying is like true on like a relative basis, where it's like if you're kind of calculating like the amount of money people are paying to go to these chains relative to their valuations, like yes, this is roughly accurate. The problem is, or like the thing that this does not capture is like or that people need to consider, right, is that pure revenues is not 100% of the value of these tokens and these coins, right? Like if you were to just take Bitcoin alone, right? Bitcoin alone accounts for half or more of all market cap of our entire industry, right? And it generates $0 effectively, right? On a relative basis. And it's because all the value of Bitcoin does not come from actual utilization of the chain. It comes from store value, monetary premium, medium of exchange, blah, 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 blah. All those things that you can't really quantify, but like there's clear value for in the industry or in the world broadly. So this does not capture that, right? Like you look at the bar chart of Bitcoin on here and it's basically zero again, even though it's disproportionately more valuable. So there's going to be two different ways you price this stuff, and Ethereum is trying to barter, like to grab onto that same nebulous monetary premium, store of value, medium of exchange, capped emissions stuff that Bitcoin does, and it's also it's the portion of this chart that's getting squeezed out right now. It's actually not generating a lot of revenue because not a lot of people are using the chain, but people are saying it doesn't matter because it's money, and like it's like that's the whole thing. I believe that the industry will continue to do these kinds of comparisons. And because of that, price will follow a Hyperliquid because people want to be able to see a quantifiable thing that says like this thing is valuable because X. And that's what Blockworks is doing. This is the same shit that all these TradFi bros are going to want to pump into their spreadsheets to be able to bid stuff up. And the reason Hyperliquid is winning is because Hyperliquid is not just a pure infrastructure play. I've been tweeting a lot lately. I did a tweet yesterday on this very specifically, where it's just like, we need to start drawing distinct lines between apps plus chains and just chains, because every other one of these on this chart are just chains. And the only thing that they have that's generating value for them is transaction fees and like maybe a little MEV if they're a creative chain. So like, some of these are maybe doing something weird. Whereas Hyperliquid is a trading platform, right? It's a trading platform that also is a chain. So it's an enshrined application. And because it's an enshrined application that has utility, that has a function, and you can capture a percentage of the fees, just like all these revenue generating things like trading bots and pump fund and all these stuff, like they're like apps are making way more money than chains are. And chains right now are the thing that is way more expensive than apps. Right? Pump fund is the perfect example. Pump fund is generating roughly equivalent to the revenue of a Hyperliquid. Buybacks are a little different, but it's generating roughly the same. And its token is trading at 3 billion, 4 billion. Whenever you have like an Avalanche, that's a chain making $0, and they are generating, their tokens valued at tens of billions of dollars, right? Ethereum is a couple hundreds of billions of dollars. So it's like the weightings are incredibly off on a pure revenue generating scale. So yeah, this trend is not going to change, and I'm probably going to re-up my bag and switch out my Kaido for HYPE, and like it's the clear winner, and it's just only going to continue to grow with HIP-3 and like all these mechanisms coming if they actually get expanded offerings on their chain.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you said there, and the thing which has always made me quite bullish on Hyperliquid, as we've been speaking about it a long time, is the potential. I know you've mentioned some of the very specific drawbacks and challenges that as the blockchain part has. Obviously, you've got Hypercore, which is where all the trading happens. That's what's making all this outrageous amount of money super successful. That is in and of itself incredibly valuable. But there is this potential for the EVM as well. And just to give you a couple of numbers, Brad, since we're talking numbers here, on the EVM side, we had a good friend of ours, actually, Lambo and Bobby. We've known Lambo for quite a while. They're putting up pretty tasty numbers on the Project X side. They're now the most profitable DEX on HyperEVM. They are, they've got 115 million in TVL, and they did 40% as much fees as Aerodrome yesterday. And Aerodrome has $1.45 billion in TVL. What's this? So $3 billion in trading volume over time. Go on, Brad.
Yeah, I'm gonna caveat that Aerodrome, like, I don't know what numbers they're looking at. It's very likely that they're not looking at the actual true revenue numbers of Aerodrome, or like the value of the Aero token relative to the like what's being done on Aerodrome. It's not a direct like, oh my god, it charge 1% on all things, and that's the value. You're going to see the actual revenue generated, which is actually quite low. And then you have a bunch of like token emissions. They do the VE33 model, but there's layered incentives and fees on top of stuff that is not readily apparent, and like that shows up on like a DeFi llama. So you need to be aware of that whenever you're doing this shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would wager that's what they're doing.
Yeah, let's leave Aerodrome out of it. Maybe it was just taking Aerodrome out of it for a second, just seeing some of the numbers on the Project X side then. So they've crossed $3 billion worth of trading volume. They did that yesterday. They've hit, as we said, what was the other number I just gave you? The 115 million TVL, which is kind of modest maybe from a crypto perspective, but it's certainly growing. And you spoke about DeFi Llama. I think one of the things about Hyperliquid is when you look at the TVL in general, like the chart is just beautiful. Like the amount of money that is flowing into, in fact, I think Lambo posted it. Here you go. Literally the most bullish chart in crypto. I genuinely believe Hyperliquid TVL will be orders of magnitude higher next year. You should be getting exposure to this. And like when you look at that chart from November, December last year, this is a nice looking chart, Brad. No?
So it is, but like, dude, like this is.
I see a piece in the comments that, is this the Blast TVL chart? Yeah, like once upon a time, anything that's gaining traction and attention will do this, right?
Well, that, and like also most of this is denominated in HYPE. So like as HYPE increases, you're going to see this go up. But also it's just like the industry broadly is losing value on TVL. Like TVL is not a sexy metric. So like liquidity is something that is useful. So like I don't want to like, and that's part of the moat that is Hyperliquid. But like you like the analytics world in crypto is largely discounting TVL pretty heavily. Like this is some 2021 bull posting shit.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's
does look good though, and it is a good sign. It's not a zero, but like,
yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely a good sign. Maybe it's not as valuable as people would have thought before.
Chain had 4 billion. They did like $500 in revenue in the last 30 days, or in
100%.
fees.
And that's why maybe the actual volume itself.
Yes, that's more. Yes, velocity is the thing that I'm more interested in.
Important. So yeah, I mean, I was just pointing out one of the things that's going on HyperEVM that I've been paying attention to a lot. I've been LPing a lot on Project X as well.
Has been going well for you? Like, are you like?
It's crazy profitable right now. like
Yeah.
crazy profitable on pairs that you like to hold, you know? So if you like Bitcoin and you like Hype, you don't really even mind which one you end up with more of, stick it in that and earn 20, 30%.
Is the actual why are you swapping between BTC and Hype on HyperEVM? Like what do you
I don't
what's
even
to
know
do?
if anyone else has that pair.
But like what's is it just to like trade it? But like that, like what's
No, as
confusing
in,
to me,
go on.
what's confusing to me is like hypercore is the thing, right? Like so if I just want to like be a trader, I want to be like I want to balance between BTC and Hype and like make sure like make those swings. I'm going to do it on core. It's faster, it's like has more features, it has all this shit, right? So why would I do that on the hyper EVM side? Like why would I do that over there when I have the equivalent thing to effectively be a tax as an order book per platform with spot with
You can't earn on your
so
whole your
for
spot
farming
hold.
specifically.
Say again?
So farming specifically.
Well, as in, so farming, I would define as like trying to get the token, which, you know, is part of it, is part of
So yield.
using,
Okay.
but no, I'm talking about like just the pure yield of, okay, if you put this amount of Bitcoin in and this amount of Hype in, you know, and you have a 15%, you know, bracket, earning like 20 to 30%, which is like, that's pretty nice. That's pretty decent for an asset which you can. It's not very easy to earn yield on those things. Of course, you need to be wary of impermanent loss and things like that. So you've got to keep an eye on that. It's not something you just set and forget and cool, I can just go and earn forever and at a certain rate. But it requires a little bit of work. But that would be I think there's three reasons for clarity for everyone else listening as well. One, earning yield on your assets that you like. Two is farming another Hyperliquid airdrop, farming a unit airdrop, farming a kinetic airdrop, and farming a Project X airdrop. Sorry, that's 6 reasons.
So I'm seeing comments in our chat, right? So one Arsiv, he hit me with the things to do, but like this is the point, right? Like what I'm trying to do, I don't care about like what's going on right now. Like it's cool, it's like make some fees, that all makes sense, it's all good. What I'm interested in is like where this potentially goes in the growth. And the thing that I'm still incredibly skeptical of with this specific EVM side of this shit is like, is it farming for farming's sake, or is there potential like growth and utilization, right? Because like if you, again, I'm a technical person, I'm forecasting where the industry is going, right? We've seen how it's already happened with Ethereum and Solana, right? People gravitated towards the thing that was fast and cheap and convenient and could like scale with applications, right? You wanted to be adjacent to these things, you wanted to compose with these things. Hyper EVM will not have that, and they will not have that for the foreseeable future. I'm talking years. So it's like this stuff is good. Farm it. There's going to be tokenless protocols. You make the airdrop. So like if it's purely like a money seeking thing in the short to immediate future, that's cool. But like I'm wondering what the long term horizon is for something like this. Like, is it going to be in Ethereum Solana dynamic when you have these other chains coming forward that are like, it doesn't have to be fuck the chains coming forward. You have a Solana, right? A Solana is going to offer you the faster, the cheaper, the convenient, like the actual usability aspect of like what blockchain can do. Like it will be infinitely more scalable and useful than HyperEVM, right? HyperEVM, again, it's like 7 TPS, right? It's very, very slow. It will take years for this thing to become even kind of like Base. And Base is like kind of like Solana, right? So like just to give people that stuff. So it's like, it's useful. If you're trying to make money, go make money. I'm trying to like see where this market's going. And I think like this is going to be a burden. And if people are looking at this thing and saying, oh, you know, it's the fucking thing of the future, it's going to encapsulate the world. Like it's not, guys, it's not. Like, so like make your money, do your thing, but it's like we need to be objective about like what the construction is, the potential of it, and like, is it worth my time? Because like my time is very finite. I can't be farming literally everything. So like, and that's why I'm asking like this, like why would I hold Bitcoin and Hype on HyperEVM? Like if I'm just a trader, like I'm going to trade on Hypercore. So like it's like even Hypercore is pulling away from the HyperEVM ecosystem. So is this a small pool of people that are just like dumping their money to farm, just like they did Blast and eventually going to roll out? Like it's probably not worth my time to spend a lot of time doing. Like I don't have the time to do it. Like that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, so I think it's I think there's definitely some farming for sure. Ninja in the comments saying it's farming for farming's sake right now. Let's not kid ourselves. There's an aspect of that. Crypto Mocha saying the same too. But I do think to be able to earn on top of you're earning. So I think there's a legit way to be earning on assets, which I think is correct.
Yeah, but you're doing that, like if it's just earning, you're doing that across all ecosystems. So now it broadens my scale. It's like, okay, so it's not like I can earn on my Bitcoin in a lot of environments. So like, where is the best place
you can't
across
do it
all
against
of my
hype though.
Well, exactly. So like,
point. So yeah, that would be the crucial detail for me, where because I haven't LP'd much ever before. In fact, almost never, because I don't like having to monitor it, and there aren't two assets that I'm comfortable with. Where it's like, okay, I don't mind if I have one more than the other. So I'd say this is the crucial thing that's changed for me. Is like I really like hype, and I really like Bitcoin. Therefore, I'll stick these two things in a pool, and I don't mind if it goes one way or the other too much because I like both, and that's not happened for me before. That's why I like to be able to.
My problem is I'm too bullish on hype. Like I don't have a desire for Bitcoin exposure. So like in my world, I don't want to risk my hype to like do this farming shit. Like because I've gone down this path before where like I get greedy. And I try to take this thing, like if all these numbers are true for Hyperliquid, all the revenue that's generating, the amount of money that's earning, the like how it's stacking up against the rest of the ecosystem, it's like, why am I spending my time risking my hype in an ecosystem that is full of people that are like there's people a billion, but there's another group of people that are literally just trying to take my hype from me. Like they're setting up mechanisms to take my shit from me. And like, I don't like for what? For another 2x on an asset that's potentially a top 5 in our ecosystem in the world, top 3. Like if you're trying to like actually look at the revenue numbers and like believe what I believe, whereas like a lot of these things aren't as valuable as a hype. So it's like, bro, like what? Like,
I think someone in your situation, Brad, what you want to do is you want to just stake it with Kinetic or something, and that will be you done. I think it depends on the profile of risk or appetite that you have, and as you said, time is an important factor as well. Staking it with Kinetic will do the job for you. That's going to be the main LST on Hyperliquid. People are super bullish about that. I think that'd be the right way to go about it. I'm conscious of time because we've only got 7 minutes left. It's been a good, robust conversation on some of the pros and cons and challenges and good stuff. And Hyperliquid, appreciate all the comments as well. This is good getting the live perspectives of everyone who are proper users of both HyperEVM and Core. Funky, I know your hand was raised, but we've got to just get to this plasma stuff because I think that was really big news as well. Conscious we only got like 5 to 10 minutes left maximum. So this was the news. This all took place on Hyperliquid. That a wallet yesterday on the plasma pre-market decided to go exceptionally long on XPL, which is the plasma token. We've been talking about it already. They raised at 500 mil not long ago in a public raise, and now it started trading on Hyperliquid pre-market. So the wallet, which was presumed to be associated with Justin Sun, that's part of the headline as well. However, it's been subsequently that's been debunked. It's not got anything to do with Justin Sun. Longed millions of dollars of XPL on Hyperliquid, clearing the entire order book and liquidating everyone. He then started closing his long, making $60 million in just 1 minute. XPL pumped to $1.80, which is over 200% in 2 minutes. So you can see the chart here of where it went. It was pretty insane stuff. Hyperliquid put out all these kind of notices to say, like, guys, this is what do they call it? Hyper perp or something. There's like low liquidity. It's a bit more risky. Like you've got to be aware of this stuff. I don't think anyone necessarily was expecting this though. In an interesting other bit of news, there was one other big winner, Techno Revenant, who made close to $25 million. His position got auto deleveraged between 90 cents and $1.20, closing his $20 million long. So there's some mechanic built into this where even if you were long on the positive side, there's like this auto deleveraging feature where it will sell it for you. So in that case, for some people, it worked out super well because they were long and they actually sold it for them at some point in time. But on the other side, obviously the majority of people, or the people who were hurt the most, were people like CBB, prominent kind of hedge up farmer in general. He said, felt smart hedging on Hyperliquid, his 10% of XPL allocation. Remember, a lot of big people went in with huge allocations to the pre-sale not long ago at 500 mil FTV. He was 1x short and had a lot of collateral to cover it, and lost all of it in this huge move up. So it's $2.5 million loss. Never touching an isolated market, I guess. I saw some people say, so the way this leverage system works is normally you can have isolated market or cross. Isolated means that like you're only risking the amount of capital you're putting in that particular part. Cross means it will use the rest of your account. I don't know if CBB was suggesting here should have had cross, but in order to not get liquidated because there's so much money as an account. But I would have thought in this particular instance, you don't know how high this person's going to pump this thing. You could risk every single thing in your account on the cross option. Like I would not, every time that I've used leverage, I do not use cross because I want to minimize my loss and I don't want to risk any more. So I think that's an important detail to point out. Some interesting insight from DCF God, who's pretty clued up on this stuff, said basically everyone that hedged their XPL bag got blown out. If you didn't have 3x your short in collateral, it was over. It's particularly bad because it's not like these people didn't have the money to back it, just that it's an isolated market and it all went down within minutes. So that's the point about you not being able to use the rest of your money in your account to kind of back it up. And saying sometimes those TradFi circuit breakers can be a good thing. So that's some pretty dramatic stuff, I think, on the XPL side. Now it's subsequently settled. I mean, you say that it's settled, but it's kind of, it still doesn't feel settled now. So now it's trading at 76 cents, which is a $7.5 billion FTV. This is now
still, what is 500 mil for the first round of buyers?
This is a 15x on the people who are in the pre-sale. So significant win there. But I feel now in the pre-market bread, what are people supposed to do here? You're not allowed to short this now. Like you would be completely terrified to short this, right? Like you can't do that. So that means the price can only go up. But then I don't know. What are you supposed to do here?
Did you see the rumors that it was Justin Sun linked wallet?
Yeah, I saw that. But then the same person who wrote that initially has now said it's definitely not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that would have been more exciting. Yeah. Like, so like that's the thing, right? Is like, okay, does this shake confidence? Like everyone was getting a little excited. Like, okay, cool. We have this new primitive. It's pre-market stuff. It's actually liquid. Like you could do all this stuff. But then like, yeah, this is the reason these products haven't done exceptionally well to this point, because of things like this, right? There's liquidity dynamics that just aren't, like that. They aren't fleshed out with a fully deployed asset. So, I don't think it'll stop anyone. It's just like you learn and you move on. I think all the responses I saw on the timeline were good natured, and people were just like, yeah, like that sucks. Of course, like I thought I was being cute. It's not cute. They took my money. Good game, well played. Like, go on to the next one. I think they'll dip their toes in again. But yeah, it just won't be as violent in either direction because like it takes a while to rebuild confidence. You need a new pool of people.
Yeah, you're kind of right there. It feels like people have just kind of accepted it. Very good to be aware of the risk, though. Like if you're trying to take a position on these assets, knowing that is possible. Final point here, in the aftermath of all of this came from Hyperliquid News, because this also started happening on World Liberty Fi. Someone started pumping the World Liberty Fi token as well, which is the other token. Obviously, it's the one related to Trump and their family DeFi project. They were trying to do the same thing there. And so they said the news was following heavy liquidations on XPL and World Liberty Fi, the mark price of HYPE will be capped at 10x the 8-hour mark price EMA. This would not have changed the liquidations, but provides a guarantee for market makers. So I think it's a little bit technical beyond what we're going to go into today, but just know that there was like some adjustments made as a consequence of this stuff in the last 24 hours. So keep an eye on it. Plasma's still looking hot here. But I don't know, it definitely shakes your confidence a little bit in the pre-market price, I think, knowing that significant games will be playing. But remember, we said, Brett, the other day, like there are no I said this, there are no TGs anymore. There's just Hyperliquid pre-markets, which means okay, fine, people who want to launch, they might not be playing in the, they might not have to think so much on the TGE point, because the at least an initial focus will be like gaming the pre-market. If you're the kind of team that's going to game the TGE, then maybe that gaming has to move to the pre-market as well now, as part of a team roadmap that needs to like manage that initial trading. So there are certainly some games being played here. Not suggesting by the team, by the way, like just whoever is playing these games, there are games being played. That's the point being made. Okay, final headline for the day, kind of back on time, just a little bit over. We had this. Oh, Brett, did you want to do this? So we have got a couple bits of news here, which I think is kind of interesting to close off, a bit more general.
Yeah, I mean, you if you want to go for it, like I was honestly just going to cut this thing super short and just say that these guys are dumb.
That's fine. You can do it like that.
Yeah, like I mean, like the headline itself was just that Howard Lutnick suggests U.S. government will put economic data on chain as Trump suggests tariff revenue could be deployed to U.S. citizens as a dividend. Now, I actually didn't read the dividend like details, but like the headline of like we're going to put it on chain is literally like there's a press conference video you can go and watch. It's not in this clip, but like I watched it yesterday, and it's just a bunch of these old ass men sitting at the table, and we're like we're gonna, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put the data on chain. And we're going to let the other people do the thing. And what they're literally doing is they're like basically taking the report and then just like putting it on chain, which is like not how this works and not why that would be useful. And not like I can get some like semblance of like why they think it's useful, because they're like, it's like, because then it's public and anyone can access it. And like, which is like, yeah, like, sure, that's kind of like the value prop with us, but like, you're not leveraging it the right way. So like A for effort, it's just a headline thing. And like, we're just gonna, it's a, what am I thinking? Like a token, it's a token of appreciation, or like a usage, or I don't even know how to say it. It's just like, these guys are dumb, and there's like, they're old, they don't understand it. And it's like, we're gonna put it on chain because you're the crypto president. Okay, thanks. Moving on. That was basically it. It's like I said at the preamble, but it's like back in 2021, public company changes their name from like whatever iced tea to blockchain iced tea, and like that was, you know, a good like show of faith and love for us. Same shit. It's just like same equivalency of usefulness. It's just like they just kind of like gave us a token of appreciation.
Indeed. It's a funny clip to watch, at least. So if you want to watch the clip, I
get like third-party cringe awkwardness just watching it.
Yeah, like, I can't always do it with the clips. I get super embarrassed for people who are doing embarrassing things. I've said that before.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put it on chain because you're the crypto president, and we're gonna make it so that everyone else can put it on chain.
There we go. Just the final thing then was this dividend distribution. It's a very short piece. Like, you know, this is one of the speculative things. That the only reason I put it in as including as a speculative thing, the quote was, "There could be distribution or a dividend to the people of our country. I would say for people that would be middle income people and lower income people, we could do a dividend." Trump told reporters before boarding Air Force One after leaving his golf club in New Jersey yesterday. I'm just putting some of these things in now as I'm piecing together this variety of bits of news where it's like, okay, we're giving young people stocks. We're taking ownership in US companies. We are potentially doing dividends for people. So there's just a few bits of news that are kind of coming out over the days and weeks and months with this administration. It's just like tying them together, giving people a picture of the general trajectory of the administration, and keeping an eye on it. So, and as we said, there's some parts of it which are interesting, where it's like, okay, yeah, give people a share in the economic prosperity and wealth creation of the best country in the world, the best country in the world to do that. But then there's definitely this centralized protectionist element that's happening, which I guess people are raising questions on. If you're going to start taking shares in failing companies, then that's more of an issue. But we're going to keep monitoring it. As always, guys, we hope you enjoyed the show today. That is the show for today. We do this every single day, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern time for 1 hour live on X, YouTube. And you can catch us on Apple and Spotify podcasts if that's where you prefer to catch up with us. Thank you to Brad, my co-host. Thank you to Funky for his contributions as always. And thank you to you in the audience for joining us. Thank you to the commentors on YouTube and Twitter who are going crazy here. Super helpful to have a bunch of legends just, alive and providing us with immediate feedback. Very, very helpful to provide additional context for everyone. We appreciate you. We hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. We will see you again tomorrow.